I think we're due to go. Okay, good morning everybody and welcome to the IVR Refresher on Friday the 1st of May. Can't believe it's May already. So joining me today on vocals, you've got myself, Nick Aikman, and Lisa Aiken, who are the channel account managers. And on keyboards and acting as our technical adult is Nick Stanich from the channel sales engineering team. So today's topic will be around IVR. So introductions are done. I'm going to cover off what IVR is and why we would use it. Looking at the API IVR solutions, the intelligent IVR, Nick's going to do a demonstration. Then we'll wrap up by looking at some of the resources that are available and a quick summary to finish. So pretty sure everybody does know what IVR is, but IVR, interactive voice response, is what that stands for. So in terms of why we use it and some of the benefits around it, in today's customer interactions with businesses, what people want is they want their voices to be heard and problems to be resolved quickly and effortlessly. So that's why many companies have adopted technologies such as IVR, so they can respond to their customers' queries around the clock quickly, more efficiently, and potentially automatically. Main reason behind IVR. So essentially, what is IVR? So IVR enables businesses to interact with their prospects and customers either through the use of touch tone, keypads, DTMF tones, sometimes known as, or through spoken language using AI-driven voice recognition software is another way it can be done. Historically, it tends to be used as a customer service tool, and when implemented correctly, IVR systems have allowed callers to resolve pretty much straightforward service-based interactions by themselves over the phone without needing to speak to a live agent, live person. Coming forward to today, we see those sort of interactions with voice response just need to respond to callers' inquiries, but now take on tasks that perhaps are new and not perhaps seen in the same way as they were before. So perhaps things like surveys, post-call surveys, promotions, making payments over the phone, carrying out polls, brand awareness, and many more things beside that. So essentially, we see it 8x8 as it's liberated businesses and their customers that they serve. Obviously, that rolls through for yourselves and your customers and your prospects, and even maybe your own businesses. So the interactions we have with our customers and prospects, I think we've all sort of seen that switch and that intersection of two key important business trends. So customers want to be more self-sufficient, and businesses are looking to improve customer experience without increasing the cost, save the costs. Both of these needs are satisfied by implementing an IVR system. It has several different versions of that to offer, and we'll come onto those later on. Also integrating it into your CRM system, that's something we covered last week. Again, these videos are saved or available for you at any time if you want to go back and look at how we do integrations and CRM in particular, because that can be quite key with IVR. So with IVR, recognition in place, voice recognition in place, it's found inbound sales, outbound sales, marketing, loyalty programs, accounting operations. That's how it tends to work. So 8x8 has seen it employed in almost every industry, whether it's finance, retail, healthcare, they're just to name but a few. So when IVR is designed with the customer in mind, organizations experience a multitude of benefits. And we'd say what we've got on screen there are not absolutely the be all and end all, but we'd say they're sort of the top sort of 7 things that people tend to look at. So delighting customers, automatically routing calls to the right agent at the right time. It gives that better support to customers. It'll naturally make customers happier, make you more efficient. And with that smartly designed speech-driven phone menu, IVRs can route callers to the most qualified agent or qualified person. So today with IVR systems, they're being used for retail orders, bill notifications, appointment reminders, even maybe reserving tables at restaurants, all done without necessarily having to speak to a live agent. And that just makes customers happy because they've got what they want, they've got it quickly, and very often they don't really want to speak to somebody, but they've managed to get what they need sorted. Saving time, and obviously time is usually associated with money and customers' need for speed. Gartner actually predict by the end of this year that the service automation will increase to around about 85%. That's this year, that's not long. So they want questions answered, they want product information delivered quickly. An IVR system with built-in menus can expedite those incoming calls accurately, route callers, or even maybe schedule calls back with some systems. So enabling callers to easily respond to options by voice or touchpad, as we mentioned earlier on. They can quickly get the information they're looking for and have their issues escalated to an agent, a human, quickly if necessary. Reducing costs. Everybody's going to look towards how they can reduce costs. And looking at how it works with IVR, it tends to compare that a live chat with an agent costs around £5 a contact. If you escalate that to a telephone-based customer service, that ranges from anything from £6 to £12 per contact for using the person and using an office-based environment. If you introduce IVR, it can bring that cost down to less than £1 per contact. And that makes customers happy. That makes you as business owners, and of course, that's how you're going to sell it into your prospects. By going through that, say it's £5 for just live chat to somebody, you can reduce that down to somewhere around the pound region by introducing an IVR. So when it comes down to how this is costed, that's the cost saving against it. So they're the real savings. So not only do businesses save on perhaps personnel, productivity gets increased, and staff can focus on resolving the real issues that make, maybe sales qualifying real buyers out into the mix. Improve lead conversion, probably dear to all of us, and how can we improve that? Well, it's not going to generate leads necessarily, but it can help maybe qualify some of the leads out. So traditional customers might use service tools, and interactive voice response systems can perform the foundations for that. So using an entirely new sales channel that can support or replace maybe telemarketing. So with IVR, it can automate the process of reaching out to clients, existing and potentially new. So it can provide a simple way of qualifying interests quickly, and that would support lead conversion. So maybe after responding to some fairly simple questions, interest can be qualified in or out. And then if it's in, it can be put through to a live agent, or it can be stacked and it can be put through to a live agent at a later date. But it saved a real person having to do it, and it's qualified it out. Now, that doesn't necessarily work in the telecoms arena. You wouldn't necessarily qualify leads for what we sell doing it that way. Again, your customers might have solutions that are simply qualified in and qualified out, and they could use IVR. So then looking at the holistic, the overall view, if you like, the helicopter view of the customer. So beyond just lead routing, typically our marketeers are quickly adopting things like IVR to learn more about our customers, whether we're conducting that via phone polls, surveys, marketing campaigns. IVR gives that sort of surefire way of unveiling what customers like and don't like, interests, demographics. So with that rich data, it gives our colleagues in marketing the ability to analyze, determine where to respond, what's most favorable, and then we can adjust our messaging accordingly around that potentially. Brand loyalty, customer relationship, certainly with the customization that we can provide in an IVR solution, it's often something that a first contact with the client is probably the best thing to do. It's not multiple contacts to get somebody to the right person. So with the use of a customizable phone menus and prompts, your customers and enterprises can create an engagement strategy. So mapping their business and the logic, the natural customer journey can allow them to deliver an experience that's always on brand. It's dynamic. They can create greetings around it. They can change the phone trees, how it routes, if you like, based on, we can maybe look at that later on. You can see what's working and what's not working and adjust it accordingly, potentially even in real time. So the customer's IVR experience should be no different than how they would wish to integrate with your brand at all times. So one can reflect the other one. And it should help your businesses scale. So in terms of the way IVRs have worked in the past, it can be quite clunky and quite fixed. You buy it and it stays as it is from day one. You really want something that's optimal. It must be flexible. It must be robust enough to scale with your organization. So as you grow and your customers change, expectations are going to change with that. Legacy systems can be a little bit rigid, don't have that flexibility to do it. And what 8x8 are seeing is companies benefiting by building with cloud-based APIs, we touched on earlier with integrations, to be able to offer intelligent routing, maybe multilingual capabilities, omni-channel support. By integrating those APIs and CRMs, business can ensure complete control of how calls are routed and how customer demand is looked after. So those engagements are constantly covered using the IVR routing. So we look at the major advantages of using IVR. The typical sort of scenarios: customer calls in, IVR system answers it, and it goes through to sales support, accounting inquiry, and that's fine. And if that's how people use it, absolutely nothing wrong with doing that. It's probably just looking at how do we sell some more of the benefits, if you like. So what do we see it as being? We see it as being easier. It's easier to provide that accessibility in there. So companies finding it intimidating to switch to new automated systems, but with 8x8, it's a subscription-based model. So the hosting plans, it makes it easier, it's a simpler process. Companies of all sizes can take advantage of the benefits because it's all cloud-based. There's no hardware costs or computing budgets. It's all built in. We take better customer service. So the impersonalization of machines can often be off-putting. People don't like it, but ultimately it brings a more direct and specific and thorough customer service. Using IVR, customers feel they're better attended to, and if customers feel they're better attended to, they're going to use you more, and the automation generally generates a quick response. They're going to be happy. It's more efficient. It's a better experience. Access, it's always on. 7 days a week, 365 days of the year, it's always there. So regardless of your office hours, breaks, that tend to dictate when employees are available, IVR is always on. It's the employee that's always there, so you can potentially extend your opening hours. Customers can get support as and when they need it. Collecting information, we've kind of touched on already, but the idea that IVRs collect information about your customers will transfer that into appropriate agents and departments, and again, better service that they get. So when calls are directed to the correct agents using the IVR technology, the probability should be that the caller is transferred to the wrong agent less likely. Less times will that happen using IVR because you're using the captured information, perhaps from CRM, route back to the last person they spoke to, and so on. So using the information from it can help provide that better service. And maybe image, so company image. So IVRs, again, can account for a lot of personalization and customer service, but what they can also do is create an impression to customers. So smaller companies can look bigger. Home-based companies, which let's face it, is pretty much all of us now, can look much bigger and much more impressive than they actually are by introducing an IVR solution. Gives that more professional and automated solution, just makes the company look a far bigger organization than perhaps it actually is. We certainly anticipate once the new norm appears, whatever that's going to look like, there's going to be a huge increase in this sort of thing. CRM integration, IVR usage, as more and more people realize they can work from home, and how they route calls and people's working hours are likely to change based on that. So to take us through that, we've got Lisa and Nick are now going to look at some of the insights into the 8x8 solutions that we have, and Nick's going to look at a demonstration on that. So I'll hand it over to Lisa to cover off the IVR options.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Nick. So just a point on IVR versus auto attendant. So auto attendant is quite often confused with IVR, and it is, I suppose, a type of. But in terms of the 8x8 terminology, auto attendant is included in our virtual office product, whereas IVR is exclusively in contact center. So just to bear that one in mind. I think Nick is going to discuss the differences and similarities perhaps between the two in the demonstration next. But auto attendant, nice and basic routing, sending to groups and individuals, whereas the IVR is going to bring a little bit more intelligence, if you like, around the whole thing. In terms of IVR, we've got two main options. So we've got the 8x8 IVR, which is built into all X6, 7, and 8 licenses. So your VCC, Virtual Contact Center, includes it automatically. Just another example of the great value that you get in the box that we don't often talk about. So you're not having to worry about ordering this over in the top of your contact center agents. It's in there already. You're not going to have to worry about ports like you would do on the on-premise systems. So again, just make sure you've got your agents ordered and you'll have it there at your disposal. What does it mean then? DTMF responds for callers. For those of you who are maybe not familiar with that acronym, dial tone multi-frequency. It's basically when you press a button on your keypad, press 1 for sales, 2 for accounts, that sort of idea, which again is generally what an auto attendant entails. So you can absolutely do that. We can take it a stage further and add in some speech as well in an IVR. We can allow your supervisors to create really easy menus and be able to change them as and when they need to. which again really cuts down time and money and effort, not having to get somebody else in to manage their system. So it's all designed to be really, really easy for everyone to use. Self-service is huge. Being able to allow your customers to the likes of check their balances or book appointments and things using IVR is really, really key. So self-service, and it was an Adobe study just last year. 98% of people said they would prefer to do self-service rather than deal with a person. I know I certainly do when I go into checkouts. I'll always go for the self-service option. And from a business point of view, as Nick said, it's going to help them save money. You know, why have a skilled agent sat there dealing with really easy questions when the customer could actually do that themselves through an automated IVR menu? In terms of the customers, so the fact that they do want that self-service, it's going to help them get the information they need. If they can ring a number, go through a couple of menu options, get what they need, hang up the phone. Time is money, and that's for the customer and for the company itself as well. So that's going to increase customer satisfaction as well, customer service, which will have an impact on your customer satisfaction scores. Providing information as to who is calling, so it's clever enough that it can tell which number was dialed or which number they're calling from as well, and you can route it on that. So as opposed to where an auto attendant will just literally direct it to a group or an individual, this is going to send it to the most skilled agent in the contact centre, whether it's a dedicated team for complaints, for example, or your best salespeople who are going to, you know, maximise that sale. So again, it's about putting a little bit more intelligence around it. We can do things such as web callbacks. If you want, you can take it a stage further and we can look at some custom integrations. Again, just talk to us about that. It would be a bespoke quote to tie into CRMs and things. Okay, but the 8x8 IVR, it really is a robust one, which is, as I said, built in, and it's going to serve the vast majority of your customers. Okay. As you would expect from 8x8, you can do analytics as well and see your most popular options, who's pressing what, where is it failing. Can you move on to the next slide for me, Nick? Thank you. So a premium version of the IVR that we offer is the 8x8 Intelligent IVR. Just moving on, Nick. So this is where we introduce the speech that I mentioned. And it's going to let your callers speak in a natural way. And it just offers an alternative to them having to press a button. So again, maybe they have a visual impairment or some other reason, that perhaps they're driving. Okay, it's not really recommended, but people do it. And it will allow you to have hands-free use of that IVR. So people can just speak, say the name of the person that you want to speak to, or tell me what you want, for example, banking, you know, balance, whatever. And it can then route based on that. Automatic speech recognition and natural language processing. So it's really going to listen to all accents as well. You've got potential to add in ID verification as well, which is huge in finance and insurance type industries. Is the person calling who they actually say they are? So that's really, really key and opens up loads and loads of potential. You can obviously program the system itself to either give out, again, self-service options as you could with the other IVR, or again, direct it to the best agent as you would expect. And it introduces scripting. So depending on what the customer chooses in way of options, it's going to then take them through this journey or workflow, if you like. And then again, depending on which options they choose and which rules that you as a business have set will depend where their call will go. Again, the graphical interface is really, really easy. So people can, supervisors, admins can learn it really quickly and make changes themselves. You might have to, again, look at the coronavirus. You might have to quickly change your opening hours. So again, they can do that really, really easily without having to call on us. The Intelligent IVR can integrate into CRM systems again. So if you need it to write back interactions into the databases, we can arrange that for you. And this is really your window for what's next. So AI solutions that are available today, such as the Google Dialogflow, Agent Assist, Virtual Agent, that sort of idea, whereby you can literally have Intelligent IVR with the Google dialog flow set up, and it will allow you to then have, it really is, if you haven't looked at it, I would encourage you to have a look. It's like having a fake person work for you, if you like. It's very, very lifelike. So it opens up a whole host of opportunities there. You can have the virtual agent then making things like restaurant bookings, which I think was one of the demonstrations. So I would encourage you to look that up. So that said, it really gives you a path to the future. Whatever else is coming down the line, it's going to be integrating with the intelligent IVR. Okay, so just a quick summary then. If why would they want one over the other? So obviously the 8x8 IVR is built in. Anything over and above that it doesn't do, you're going to look to the intelligent one. Now that is going to be a bespoke or a custom quote. So again, engage your AE with their sales engineer, and we will get that quote for you. If your customer doesn't want to have to press the buttons on the keypad to direct it, and they want to introduce voice, then that could be a reason. Again, it's just going to increase the time value of voice agents. It's not all about getting rid of agents, it's what some people fear. It's about making those that you have better skilled and not tying up their time doing things that, you know, could be done in a self-service. Quicker path to the subject matter expert. Again, time is money. The shorter you can have that interaction, the more time available for everyone. Okay, so with that, I think I'll hand over to Nick to give us a little bit of a further discussion and demonstration. Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Lisa. I will start sharing my screen first, so you guys should be able to see that.
Yeah.
Can someone confirm it?
Yes.
We can see that, Nick.
Fantastic. Right. So, as Lisa and Nick said, there's multiple ways, multiple choices when it comes to IVRs and auto attendants within 8x8. I'll show you very briefly on how the IVR is used within the auto attendants within 8x8. So just for virtual office or unified communications piece of 8x8 platform. So within the configuration manager, you'll find your auto attendants section. Within that section, you will be able to create multiple profiles of IVRs. So you can actually create emergency responses, fire alarm responses, or whatever that might be. That's easy to change once you have a situation like that, so your customers are not just or the calls are not coming through to agents that are not present. Within the details of each one of the profiles, you will be able to assign numbers, and you will see all of the other details around the auto attendant, such as schedule, languages, and time zones, which are shared between all of the IVR products within 8x8. Now, when it comes to the auto attendant, most of you are familiar with the most basic level of IVRs or auto attendants. And that's the open hours, closed hours, and lunch hours. So once we create a schedule that we have, the working schedule of the particular office or branch, you can actually select different options for each one of those. So if the hours are closed, we will just leave a message that we are closed right now, and you can call back later between X hours and Y hours. On the open hours, we can actually create a menu that will allow us to route the calls in the way that that the customer wishes via the DTMF technology that Lisa was talking about. From the prompting perspective, we can actually create 3 different ways of prompting. We can actually use a inbuilt text-to-speech, so just write down the message that you wish to leave for your customers, and the system will read it out. We can also add a playable audio if you have pre-recorded messages, if you're using a third-party company that's making maybe a professional recording, or you just have your supervisor recording the message and up. But also you can skip the prompting completely and just create options for those users that are calling maybe for the automated responses. If you have a dial by extension option, so essentially if you know the extension, please dial it now, stuff like that. Within the menus, you can very easily select the buttons that you wish to be used for a particular function. If in this case we have 1 and 2 already covered, we will select 3, and then we will select the action that we have. You can see here that we only have a limited number of actions that we can do, and that's going to be a little bit more obvious in comparison to a virtual contact center. IVR. So if I do select any of these options, I can say, right, I want to transfer to a user service or an external number, and then I will either type in or select a user that I want to forward to. Okay, so each one of those menus can lead us to a third-party numbers as well. So if I select again option 3, say user service or external number, I can either select one of the existing users or just type in a number that's a third party, which can be a mobile number if you have engineers on call or whatever that might be. Now, that's pretty much as far as it goes when it comes to the auto attendant. Hence, we are talking about the most basic level of IVR within 8x8. When we talk about the contact center, it's a lot more comprehensive. We can take a look at some of the functionalities here. First of all, you'll notice that the menu is very different, that it's a very comprehensive way of scripting the calls. As a matter of fact, in the within the product, they are actually called scripts, and they are not to be confused with the scripts that the agents read to their customers. In these cases, I can the model is pretty much the same though. So you have your schedule that you will assign to a particular script. You will have a message of welcome, and then you can have multitude of options that you can choose from. In this case, I will choose option 5, say add, and then I will get a far more comprehensive list of actions than you've seen previously in the auto attendant, and they range anywhere from checking the schedules, catching the values of the entered within DTMF, checking the ANIs so we can actually check the number that the customer is calling from and route it based on that. So if you have a customer that we know already about that has a dedicated account manager, as soon as they call in, we can check their phone number. If we have it in the database, we can route it directly to their account manager.
Nick, sorry to jump in. The screen is stuck on the application panel screen at the moment.
Is it? Okay. I will restart my sharing. I will restart my sharing. Bear with me. Okay. Are we back on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. So I will just to go back to the scripts that we were talking about. I'm not sure at which point you lost me. If we go back to scripts, you will see that menu that I was talking about. So the menu on the left-hand side will allow you for all those options that we talked about. So again, if I choose number 5 and click add, I will have a multitude of options that I wanted to use. Now, from those, so some of the functionalities can help you actually build the IVR. So you will see some of the very obvious options of play, or which will be an automated message that's already been recorded.
Sorry, Nick. Sorry, it's stuck again. Sorry to jump in. We're just looking at 8x8 Virtual Config Manager login.
Okay, I thought so. I thought you could see my screen better as well. I will try and make sure that that I see the stream as well, so I can notice it. Can you see it now?
Yeah, insert object. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. So essentially, from the obviously playing the automated audios that you already have, you can upload those. You can actually have a database of your audio files, so you can create them in advance and just pick and choose within the script. We can also use a text-to-speech, in which case we will open it up, select the voice that we want. We can do that in multiple languages. So if we are writing in Arabic, we want to choose the Arabic language for the pronunciation of those words and the accents that we are expecting. As I said, there's multitude of options there. I won't go through all of them. The part of the training and onboarding of new partners and customers covers all of these options and will allow you to explore those. It's important to mention that we do have a professional services team that allows us to do a little bit more comprehensive or complex IVRs. So in cases where you have maybe energy companies that need meter readings, that you have maybe financial institutions that need the ability for the customers to hear back the state of the account, or any sort of information reading back, that's also possible. However, it doesn't come with an existing license. It's part of professional services, but as it's a case-by-case basis. The last piece that we would want to talk about here is the intelligent IVR, and Lisa mentioned already some details around it. You'll notice that I only have a screenshot of it here. We didn't prepare the demonstration for this as it's a very comprehensive topic. But essentially, each one of those IVRs will give you the ability to focus the customers and have the flexibility of making the agents more effective. However, the intelligent IVR does that in 150 languages, I believe, and it has a lot of options around biometrics, recognizing the voices of people, so you can do the IDNV options around it, and it will also boost the productivity from the virtual agent perspective. So again, as Lisa said, it's not there to replace your agents. However, it is there to do some menial tasks, some repetitive tasks that your agents are dealing with on a daily basis, and basically allow your real agents more time and more opportunity to make that personal connection with the customers and deal with more complex problems. Hopefully you managed to see the screen by the end there. I will hand over back to Lisa and Nick. So hopefully that was helpful, and we can sort of.
Thank you. Yeah, we can see it. Thank you. That was great. Thanks, Nick. So, sorry, could you just share the slides again, please? Lovely, thank you very much. So just some resources to finish up then on our website, as has been the case for all of our webinars. Really good resources on there, so we can make these slides available to you. and the excuse me, the IVR page will take you, the link will take you straight there, and you can see a screenshot of that. You can download a data sheet as well on the Intelligent IVR. So again, that page will show you the differences as a bit of an aid memoir. And again, just a reminder, partner exchange, you should all have access to that. So any marketing campaigns around contact centre, of which this forms a part of, will all be on there, and that's updated regularly as well. You can access that just from one of the tabs, the same place you go to register a deal. If you do register a deal that needs support, that will come in and be allocated to one of our account executives and their sales engineers that are aligned to them. They will help you to scope out the opportunity and obviously help you determine whether it's the IVR or the intelligent one that is required. So don't worry too much about it. We just want you to be able to spot those opportunities and bring them to us. And again, options around professional services and deployment as well. And bear in mind that custom integrations, anything out of the ordinary, just talk to us and we can work it out together. Okay, so thank you everyone for your attention. Hopefully you found it useful today. Any questions, get in touch with your account manager or any of us that are on here. Thank you very much.